Everybody, I hope you're all doing well. This is Eliza and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today we are going to study about comparison of fractions. In the previous lessons, in case you are following my lessons in the YouTube channel, in the previous lessons we have learned about what is fraction, conversion of one type of fraction to the other, addition, subtraction, multiplication and division of fractions, and we have also learned how to convert a fraction to a decimal and vice versa. Today we are going to learn about the comparison of fractions. I have two fractions over here. The first one is 2/3, which means there are 3 equal parts of a candy bar and I've used 2 parts out of them. The next one is 5/6, which means that there are 6 equal parts of a candy bar and I have used 5 parts out of the 6 parts. Now we are going to compare the fractions. I'm going to show you 2 different ways today in which we can compare the fractions. So the first one is, we can easily cross-multiply these numbers. So 2 times 6 is equal to 12 and 3 times 5 gives us 15. So we definitely know that 12 is less than 15. And thereby 2/3 is less than 5/6. Okay, so the cross multiplication help us to figure out which is the greater fraction and which is the lesser one. So we got our answer from here, that is 2/3 is less than 5/6. What is the other way to compare a fraction? I am going to show you with the same example. I have 2/3 and 5/6. So the other way in which we can compare a fraction is by making the denominators equal, which we have already studied in the previous lesson of addition and subtraction of fractions. We were trying to add and subtract the fractions when we made the denominators equal. It was much easier. So we are going to turn this out into a much easier fraction, okay? So this fraction, if I times it by 6, the other one, if I times it by 3, I'm only talking about the denominator at the moment. And what do? As I multiply the denominator by 6, I'm also going to multiply the numerator with a 6 because 6/6 equals 1, so the question remains unchanged. The other fraction, I am going to multiply a 3 with the numerator as well, which keeps the question unchanged yet again. Now, what do we have as the answer? 6 times 2 is equal to 12. 6 times 3 is equal to 80. On the other side, we have 5 times 3 is equal to 15. And 6 times 3 is equal to 80. Now, when the denominators are same and the numerators are different, like there are 18 parts, 18 equal parts in a candy bar, we are using 12 parts out of it. The next one, there are 18 equal parts in a candy bar. We are using 15 parts out of it. So you can easily figure out which is the greater fraction. So 15/18 is the greater fraction. 12/18 is less than 15/18. Thereby 2/3 is less than 15/18. So this is our final answer. In both the scenarios, we see 2 different scenarios over here, but we get the same answer, that is 2/3 is less than 5/6, right? So let me just erase this and change it to 5/6 so that it will be easier for you to understand. And thereby we have our final answer. Right? So that is how the comparison of fraction actually works. Now, we are going to see some shortcut methods by which you can do the fractions or compare the fractions even faster. Okay? So The next one which I have for you is we are going to compare the fractions with same denominators. We are going to compare the fraction with same denominators. I'm going to write it over here. There we go. So I have 5/7 and I have 2/7. So these are two different fractions, right? There are 7 equal parts. I have used 5 parts out of the 7 equal parts. The next fraction says there are 7 equal parts and I have used 2 parts out of those 7 equal parts. Friends, if you want to apply the property of cross multiplication over here, you can easily see that 7 times 2 is equal to 14. 5 times 7 gives us a 35. So we can actually figure out that 5/7 is a greater fraction than 2/7, right? But what is the shortcut that we have to keep in mind? We have to keep in mind that whenever, let me write it for you really quick. Whenever we have fractions with the same denominators, compare the numerator. Compare the numerator. The fraction with the greater numerator is the greater fraction. Okay? So this is the easiest way out. When we have the same denominators, just compare the numerator. 5 is greater than 2. That means 5/7 is greater than 2/7. As easy as that, right? Now we are going to move on to the next one. Now we are going to compare the fractions with same numerators. Okay? We are going to compare the fractions with same numerators. I'm going to type in here really quick. It wouldn't be taking much time. Comparison of fractions with same numerators. Okay, so let's get started. I'm just going to reverse or swap the fraction a little bit so that we can actually deal with the same numbers. It will be easier for you to understand. So I have a fraction 7/5, and the other fraction which I have in my mind is 7/2. You can apply the cross multiplication method, or maybe we can try out a different method this time. You remember, like making the denominators equal? Just let us try out. 5 times 2, and we can multiply the 5 over here. We shall also be multiplying the 5 here, and we are going to multiply a 2 here. So that keeps the question unchanged. We have 14, we have 10, we have 35, and we have a 10, right? Now look at this. We have the same denominators. And thereby it's proven that this fraction is greater than 14/10. So 7/5 is less than 7/2. What about we try out a different method? Another one, okay? I'm definitely going to show you the short form. I'm going to stick to that. I'm stick to my words, but let us give it a try. So 7/5, and we have a 7/2. Let's cross multiply. So this is a 35 and this is a 14. And thereby it shows that 14 is less than 35. So we have the proof already over here that 7/5 is less than 7/2. We have the same answers. We have taken into account two different scenarios, but we have the same answer. And hence, what is proven? We have to write it down over here. So I'm going to take the time. Okay, there I go, the text box. Okay, so when there are fractions with the same numerators, when there are fractions with the same numerators, right? Compare the denominators. Compare the denominators. The fraction with the lower denominator is the greater fraction. Just the opposite. Okay? Just the opposite as what we have learned earlier. When there are fractions with same numerators, compare the denominators. The fraction with the lower denominator is the greater fraction. So friends, I hope you are able to understand whatever we have done till now. In case you have any queries, you are always free to drop in your comments. I shall be happy to answer you back. Well, now this was the comparison of fractions when there are two fractions. Now we are going to compare three fractions, okay? So how does that work? We cannot cross multiply in that sense, right? We cannot cross multiply the first one with the second one or the second one with the third one. That is going to take a very long time. And it is not even the correct method to do it. So I'm going to show you how to compare three different fractions. We have 2/3, we have 3/4, and we also have 3/5 maybe? Yes. If you know or if you have learned by now how to do this, you can definitely pause the video, go ahead with the question and check the answer at the end. Till then, I shall go ahead and show you how to do this sum. So we have three different denominators over here, as you can see. What should come to our mind? That in case we make the denominators equal, it will be very easy for us to compare the fractions. Let's do that. So I have 2/3. If I want to make the denominators equal, I shall be multiplying the first fraction, that is 2/3. I'm going to multiply the denominator with a 4 and a 5 because we have two other fractions as well. So I'm going to multiply the first denominator with a 4 and a 5. I'm also going to multiply the numerator with a 4 and 5. By now, I'm so sorry, I apologize for that. So by now, you have understood that why we are multiplying the numerator and the denominator with the same numbers, just to keep them equal, just to keep the question unchanged. 3/4, so we have a 4 over here, right? So I am going to times that with the 3 and a 5. Similarly, I'm going to times up the numerator with the 3 and a 5. Next one, I have 3/5. So I'm going to times that with the 3 and a 4 because that is what the other denominators are. I'm going to times this with the 3 and a 4 as well. So what is the answer that I get? I'm going to take a different color. I love making my screen colorful. So this would be 5 times 4 is equal to 20 times 2, which gives us 40. And hereby we have 20 times 3 is equal to 60. The next one, it gives me a 45 out of 60. And the next one shall be, it shall be a 36 out of 60. By now, friends, you have already learned how to compare the fractions when we have the same denominators. We already see here that this is the lowest one. So let's write that. 36 over 60 is the lowest one, which is lesser than 40 over 60, which is yet lesser than 45 over 60, right? So let's write the original fraction. That would be 3 over 6 means the last one. So that would be a 3 over 5, which is less than 40 over 60 is the first one. That is 2/3, which is lesser than 3/4. And thereby we got our final answer. Friends, that was all for today about the comparison of fractions. If you have any questions popping up in your mind, just drop me comment in the drop me a comment in the comment section. I'll get back to you. Till then, thank you so much for your patience and for your time. I really appreciate your support. Thank you so much. You have a good one. Bye-bye.